I'm going to make an entire drum and bass track from scratch. And from this, you'll be able to see the full process in how I finish my music. So bookmark this video somewhere, keep coming back to it until you fully learn how to finish a track. In this video, I'm going to be using samples from my website, particularly the Dance Floor DNB sample pack. And then I'm also going to be using the platform Splice to get additional samples. Then we'll be using a couple of other plugins like Serum and some post-processing tools like OTT and Saturn and Valhalla Room. And then we'll also be using a sidechain plugin called Kickstart too. If we use anything else, then we'll go through that in the video. If you could just take a moment to hit that like button, it'd be much appreciated. And here's a small preview from the finished track so you can hear it. We'll have a full preview of the track at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is open my project template. I've got the choice between FL Studio and Ableton, and I'm more used to FL Studio, so I'm going to use this. Now, if you want to use these project templates, I've left a free download in the description, so make sure to grab that, and this will really help with your music production. So 174 BPM. So let's first look for an intro. So I'm thinking a nice melodic style drum and bass track. So let's search piano chords and see what we can find. After a little bit of searching, I found this really cool piano. Let's drag this in. Pitch adjusted it to E minor. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Brilliant. Okay, rename the track 174 BPM E minor. Right, now we need some vocals to go over the top of this. So let's go back into Splice and search female vocals. Okay, I like this one. Okay, good. Then we can go to a drop here. So we need some drums. So I'm just going to get a loop and I'm going to look through my sample packs for this. So because this is a melodic one, let's go to my Dance Floor DNB pack and find some drums from this one. They're already 174 BPM, perfect. Double that, there we go. Now we need a bass for the drop. Now I had this idea in my head earlier where it's like a wobble bass and it goes like wob, 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 wob. So we created a loop as a placeholder. Now we're going to create the drums. So first I need a kick drum. So I'm going to look for a kick drum from the sample pack and drag it in. Then I'm just going to duplicate it. Duplicate it again so it's on that half step. And then change it to blue, because we're going to stick with the blue color for the drums. Now we're going to look for a snare. I'm quite liking this one, snare number 9 from the Dance Floor pack. And then we'll just put this in on the 2nd and 4th beats, and then copy that across, and then just pitch it up 4 semitones or 5 semitones. Yeah, 5 sounds good against the bass, so we'll do that. Then let's just duplicate that and make it blue. Now let's just have a look at the mix down. So we want the kick to be the loudest element. So we're going to mix loud for this video. Yeah, make it louder. There we go. If you want to look at mixing loud, I've got a tutorial on that as well. I'll leave that down below in the description. Let's just add a bit of distortion. Sounding a bit too aggressive though, so we might remove that. Now let's add a Pro L to the master because it was just redlining a little bit. Okay, that's sounding better. Kick compared to the snare is a nice level. You can see the snare is slightly quieter than the kick drum. We'll just increase the kick drum a little bit more, so it's going to 0 dB. And then we've got a Pro L limiter on the drum bus as well, just stopping it from going over 0 dB from redlining. We're just going to turn this blood overdrive off for now because it didn't really work that well. Now let's layer the snare. So I'm going to use a clap for this. A nice light clap, I'm feeling. Now we've got to be careful here because it can often make the snare sound worse. So we're just going to go into it, make it shorter and snappier. That sounds okay, but maybe we need to make it even snappier. Maybe turn it down a little bit. It's quite loud at the moment. Yeah, it's louder than the snare. So let's turn that down. And then duplicate it so it's matching all the snares. Make it blue. There we go, turn it down now. Nice. Now let's get another layer. Let's get another clap in. And we'll just shorten this down as well. Duplicate that across, duplicate it again, duplicate it once more so they're all matching. And make it blue. There we go, duplicate it once more. Nice. Just cut that a little bit. Okay, that's sounding all right. Now I'm just going to look on Splice for some drums. I did find this really cool drum sample earlier, and I want to use the high end of it to create some top loops. All right, let's drag this drum loop in. Put it on the tops loop layer, and now let's add some EQ. EQ2 will do. Add a high pass filter, so I just right click there to get it on, and then drag it so only the high end's playing. Maybe drag it a bit more than that, 3000-ish. Oh, that's sounding nice. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I'm feeling like the kick drum is a little bit too abrupt. So maybe I'll change that. So yeah, let's try one from the Rollers pack. Okay, this one's sounding good. Oh yeah, that sounds a lot better. Let's go with this one then. Let's make it blue again. And then make this one blue. So it looks nice. Just bring the level of the kick drum up a little bit. Now let's add some additional hi-hats in, just to get even more swing in. So let's try this hi-hat, turn it down a little bit, and then let's duplicate it. Turn it up a tiny bit just to add some nice velocity changes, to add groove in, and then duplicate this across. And then we'll just turn a few of them down as well. No point. So we've just duplicated all the drums to get 8 bars, and now we're creating a little ride with ride 4. I don't know if this will work, it's just an idea. There we go. And then let's duplicate this again to get a full 16 bars. Let's just EQ these. And then change the velocity on some of them, just to give that a nice groove effect. Make them blue. Now we're just going to look for another clap and add some perk switch ups in this. So you'll see what I mean when I get it in the right position. Just bear with me. Not there. Nope, not there. Maybe there. Yeah, there. So that sounds really good now. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. And we're just going to cut this down because I think it sounds better like that without the weird hi-hat on the end of that transition. And then let's duplicate this across. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds really good actually. Now let's just check the level on the drum bus. It's looking okay. Get rid of that blood overdrive, we don't need that. Maybe turn the kick drum down a little bit. And looking at that, some of the elements are a little bit too loud. The clap and the snare are actually in different groups now, so let's just group them into one area so we can really see how loud they're coming in visually. Yeah, so it's coming in way louder than the kick drum. So let's just turn this down on the actual volume now. There we go, that's a nicer level. And then the hi-hats are also really loud, so let's turn them down. Yeah, that's better. Then let's turn the drum bus back up. Just seeing if I can change this ride a little bit. So I've gone with ride 7 in the end and I'm just EQing it now. I think that sounds a bit better actually. but we don't know if this is going to sound good yet in the drop, so let's not waste too much time on that. Make that blue again. Now let's just sidechain the bass to the kick drum. Now that we've separated the loop, so that's just sidechaining with the kick, the bass. Now let's do some parallel compression and some parallel distortion with the drums. So this is on channel 100 and 101 of the project template, which you should have downloaded for free earlier. So we just put a fruity compressor on, the PC one, the parallel compression, and then a fruity distortion on the PD one. Then we can just look through some of the settings on it. Make sure it's not too intense. Turn these down here at the bottom. And then we have the drums done for this section. Now let's listen to them. Now the bass took a lot of trial and error, and it was kind of just a mess when I recorded it. So I'm just going to show you how to make it and then show you what I did. But essentially what you need to do is just look through sample packs, keep trialing and error things until they work. Initially I made this really rubbish wobble bass, but then I worked on it, post-processed it, changed things around on Serum until I thought it sounded the best. So let me show you what I did. So this is the bass here, and I'll recreate it for you. So I created a nice wobble bass, and first we had oscillator A and oscillator B on, and we went to this basic shape settings, and on this wavetable you can change a load of things to get a load of cool shapes. And wavetable position 2 is really good for like lead bass style. So if we get them both like this and play it, it kind of just sounds pretty normal. But then if we go -2 on here, this side, and then +7 on this side, we start to get these nice tones. Then we need to create a wobble sound. We can do this with LFO1 and turn the level down on both these, put it on max for both these, put this on trigger mode. We start to make a wobble. Then we can click this little dot button at the bottom here and change this to 1/8 dot. And then if we create like this sort of shape here, it creates a bit of a faster wobble, which is a bit better for drum and bass in my opinion. Now we can add a filter and turn A and B on, and then we're going to pick the setting German LP, and then if we bring the cutoff to around about 140ish and add a LFO to around about here, around about 30ish, 35, 36, we get this sound. Turn this res off, turn the drive up a tiny bit, you start to get the smoother sound. So let's just turn the level down on this a little slightly so the bass isn't so aggressive. And then on the post-processing, let's add a distortion. We'll just leave it on tube, but turn it up a bit. We'll add a compressor and turn the threshold up a little bit. Just move these up here. Then we'll add an EQ and we'll turn the gain up a lot. And then we'll do the same on the right side to turn the gain up a bit. But this time we'll turn the Q down to get this bit more of an angle and turn the frequency down a tiny bit and adjust the frequency a bit that way. And then finally you can add a reverb on here if you want, or we can alternatively just do it on the template. So bass 1 gets sent automatically to this bass reverb, and I've got a Valhalla Room reverb on it and an EQ cutting out any of the lows. This can change, by the way, you don't have to do it that steep. And then it just gets sent to that. So when it plays, there's a little reverb in the background, adding a nice layer. Now let's look at the post-processing, because this makes a massive difference. So we've got our OTT on it, just on these settings, which is boosting the sounds quite a lot. But then we've got the Saturn 2, which is making a massive difference. And now we're going to add this EQ on here, and we're moving the low end because we're going to add a fat sub bass underneath it and a bit of the high range because it was sounding a little bit metallic almost. Now it sounds a bit more full there. So now let's create the melody. So I did get this idea in my head earlier, and it was to go like this. So let's just play around with it whilst we do with the drums. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. And we can turn this on if you want. So we can go view, scale highlighting, E minor. So that just means that it snaps to something that's in key instead of going everywhere. It just goes, makes it a little bit easier. And then we'll stick to the same pattern here. But then one thing to note as well is there's lots of different types of minor. So there's not just E minor natural, there's like E minor melodic, harmonic, all these different types. So I'm just going to turn this off here because I'm going to use my ears. This sounds better to me, which is probably one of those different types of minors, but my music theory isn't good enough to know that. I just know it from my ears at this point because I've been producing for so long. So we can just duplicate this. Maybe we'll create some variation later on with different melodies, but that's fine for now. And then we're just going to layer this with our bass layer 2, which is literally just something from my sample pack, the lead epic from here, and then I've turned it into a wobble. And it's barely doing anything, to be honest. It's like a tiny little layer with EQ on and a bit of reverb on, just helping give a bit more space to the bass. But honestly, if it was turned off, you probably wouldn't notice. So to copy this melody across, we can just click here, Control C, click here, Control V. And then we've got my favorite sub bass underneath, the level 1 sub from the Dance 4 pack, which is literally just a sine wave, basic shape sine wave. And then this is drawn on. So it's just bin 3. Everything's turned off, and then this is drawn on bin 3 like this. And it makes this cool shape, which has another like frequency to the sound. Give it this sound. Sounds really aggressive and heavy. And then that's just sustained. So we can just copy and paste this here, and now we get all the layers. And we've got our kickstart on these as well to match the other bass. And then altogether it should sound like this. Now when I was doing the crazy trial and error, I did find this really cool bass on Splice, which you can see here. And this is just matched to the BPM and E minor. So what I was thinking is to get a load of reverb on this, and EQ the low end out because of the sub bass, and of course have this sidechain on it. I've got the sidechain acting a little bit differently to the other one because I thought it sounded weird having both sidechain for this on the same one. And then I'm just going to chop this up, because when it's playing like that, it just completely destroys any synth below it. So I just want little parts of this. So I was thinking the start of it and the end of it. So maybe here and here. And then let's do it for this bit. Here. And here. And then let's get rid of that middle bit. And let's see. Boom. So I can play again there maybe. Maybe have this coming in gradually. Yeah, I like that. So let's drag this across. And then that's the initial bit of the bass done. Now I'm going to do a bit more on the vocals. So you see here I've got Splice Bridge, which is a free plugin on Splice. And it's just on channel 65. And then I've connected it with the bridge connection here. And now I've gone to the sample pack where I originally found the vocals. And I'm going to try and find some more vocals to fit in. But if I just come down to here and click E, so it matches E minor. Now let's have a listen. So that's the first sample we used. Now I'm thinking there needs to be something coming in here because I listened to it back and then it just felt like a vocal could come in here. So let's see if we can find something. Maybe this one then. So let's drag this in. We'll put it in the same section as the main vocal for mixing purposes for now. So this one is actually dry, so let's put this in a new file, and then we'll leave these as wet for now. Maybe I'll come back to them later and put the dry ones in, but I think they sound pretty good as they are. You know what, let's find the dry for them. I'm just thinking we could hear the actual lyrics better if we put our own reverb on them, maybe not so intense. So this one, and then this one. Get rid of these now. And chop this down here. Pop this here. Don't change the channel. And now what I'm going to do is I'll leave this on here for now, on this channel. And then make these yellow. Let's get rid of those old ones as well, just to keep the project organized. Delete them. I'm going to use a Clar Vocals. So we've got the plugin up here, and then we can just go through the settings on it. So we could go Start Me Up. And we can even do Start Me Up Dry, so there's no reverb or delay on it. And this one normally sounds pretty cool. And then you can just adjust these if you want, but I'm going to leave it as it is. Now we can apply reverb on another channel through the vocal reverb here. And then I'm just going to put Valhalla Room on this because I prefer it.
You are the sweetest paradise I saw. Forever in your eyes, no one could ever put a price on us.
And then we can just put a G clip on this so it doesn't go over 0 dB. Same on this one.
You are the sweetest paradise.
Might be too loud now, but we'll see.
I still burn, oh I still burn for you.
Yeah, so that's a bit loud, so maybe we can just turn the output down on here.
I still burn, oh I still burn for you.
Maybe have it just similar level to the bass.
I still burn, oh I still burn for you.
And then if we have a listen to here. So if this was on channel 1, would it fit in? That actually sounds pretty good, so I'm going to leave it there for now. So we're doing all the class stuff to it, plus we've got a bit of reverb on it. Do we want any delay on it? I don't think so. Maybe at the end of this section here. Honestly, that sounds okay to me. So we've got our piano loop here. I think what I'm going to do is just move everything 16 bars across and then put the piano loop over like this. So our intro is like this. Make this orange. So we've got 16 bars of that, 16 bars of the vocals, then the drop. And let's just extend the drop another 16 bars as well. Okay, get rid of that.
You are the sweetest paradise I saw. Forever in your eyes, no one
And that's there. Okay, so this is what I was talking about those when these come in here. For one, they're very loud, so let's try turning them down and listening. I think that sounds alright. It's hard to tell right now. I think I'll come back to that. But now we've done that, we've got an intro and then we've got the drop. So let's just tidy this up a little bit. Let's just put drop here. So we've got a full 1 minute 28 of the track, which I'm pretty happy with. And now, before we do anything else, so you might be thinking, why don't I just duplicate this now? That's because we've not finished yet. I'm only going to duplicate all this once I'm happy with every single element. There's still quite a lot to do. For example, putting the effects in, any more instruments, the transition, the build up into the drop, making sure there's nothing else to add to the drop like effects and things like that. So let's do that next. We're going to keep building on this, and then when it's perfect, we'll then duplicate it and do the second breakdown and the second drop. So let's do some effects now. So we want to start with the basics. So I'm just going to go to the dance floor pack and find the effects section. So we've got all the effects here, and first let's see if we need any white noise. Maybe like a fire crackle. That's quite relaxing, like the piano. I like that a lot actually. A little bit quieter. Oh yeah, that's nice. Right, now a riser for the end of the 16 bars. Let's find the longest one possible. We've got that one or this one. I think this one's fine. And then we need a down filter for this bit, so down filters. Want quite a long one as well for this. Yeah, they're nice. So let's just listen to the sound on these. Remember, effects you want to be really in the background. Maybe we could have an impact as well. So we've got some impacts in the down filter section. Maybe this one. Well, that's quite nice actually. Maybe not so loud. Maybe a little bit louder. You hear that's like barely noticeable, but it does make a big difference. I like that. When stuff like that, it's like perfect. And then we need more effects, so we can have this go in again for this bit, but we need like a longer riser, I feel. Do we have any longer one? We do have a longer one here.
Sweet as paradise, I saw forever in your eyes. No one could ever put all I need when the world's.
I think we need to do more with the actual instruments themselves to know for sure what this needs. It does feel like it needs some sort of build up here, but I don't know what exactly, because this transition here is going to need a bit of work. So after a bit of searching, I've found this sample that I think sounds pretty cool. And it doesn't seem to want to connect to my splice bridge, so I'm just going to do this the OG way. So you just go here, samples in 120, and then come here and E3 generic. There we go. So let's listen. Get rid of the start. Just as like some sort of transition into the drop. Okay, that sounds a bit better. Maybe we could turn the riser up. Not that much. Okay, I think that sounds alright for now. We're going to do some more tweaks later on. But one thing I want to do first is come up with a name for the track to give it more character, to give it some sort of end goal. This is going to be a track kind of feel to it. So let's listen to the vocals, see what we can get from them. Alright, let me just make some notes whilst doing this.
You are the sweetest paradise I saw forever in your eyes. No one could ever put a price on us. No, 'cause baby, you are the twin flame. You are the end game. Honey, you're all I need when the world stops turning. I still burn, oh, I still burn for you.
Okay, so these are all the things it says. Burn for you. End game, honors, in your eyes, it's a bit overused. Paradise kind of sucks. I reckon you could either do end game's pretty good. I quite like end game, but the main thing she says right before the drop is, she says burn for you. I feel like that's kind of cool, you know, burn for you. Either burn for you or just for you. Burn kind of gives like a weird, exciting tone to the tune though. Now what I tend to do is something like this, so arc node, and then let's just put burn for you for now. We can always change it later on, and then in like brackets or whatever I'll put 140 minor, just so the BPM and the key are always there on the track. So I spent a few hours testing a load of different ideas, and I came up with a new idea, so now I'm going to recreate it on here and see how we get on. So this was really nice, but it just didn't really feel authentic to me, because it's just one sample. I'm just going to remove this, and I'm going to remove the effects as well, and then create my own stuff. So let's start with a piano. So let's get Nexus open. We're going to get this black hole piano, and now let's do some intro chords. Let's rename it piano. Change the color to orange. Put it in channel 40. And now let's make some chords. So we're in E minor, and I really liked using C. So I'm going to start on C major chord and see how that goes. Get a C. Get an E. Get another C. Let's pop this on our door. Quite like that. So we'll have it changing every 2 bars. So here are the chords in E minor. We've just used C major. Now let's try A minor. So A, C, E. So A, C, A. what this sounds like. Yep, let's keep this going then. So let's try E minor now. So E and B and E. And down again. Maybe G major. Let's try G major. So G, D, G. I mean, it technically went up, not down, but that sounds good. Now let's duplicate this. Now we need a layer. Let's layer it with a pad. Let's try this pad. The basic pad, put it in 41. Name it pad. And then what we'll do is copy these over. See how it sounds. That sounds alright, but I might make these a bit higher. EQ out some of the lows. Don't know why there's a Saturn 2 on it. Oh. That sounds cool. Now let's look at adding a respace. So let's get Serum open. We'll just lay it out first. Delete it from there. And let's just go to channel 42. Let's just go to dance floor and find a nice respace. We want like a low one. Deeper maybe. Try a bit of OTT on this. Maybe try a bit of distort. Actually like that, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's do that. Now let's add some atmospheres. So for this first one, I resampled this pad. Let's try adding this in. That sounds really cool. Just filling up that space. And then let's get next again. And add another one, so find this cool one. And let's just go. We'll just make a long note on E5. Make this even longer. It might be worth resampling this sound as well because it's making a lot of noise. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to export this as a WAV. Right, so let's drag this in here. And it should stop going crazy. Okay, now let's add some white noise in. We're just doing a general mix down at the moment. We can go back into it later as well. Let's maybe try rain actually. Yeah, I like that. And now let's go to the vocals. I had this really cool idea with the vocals. Go like, so this U bit. I want just the U at the start. Zoom right in. Put this in its own channel. Anything? No, okay. Reverb on it. For you. Yeah. We can turn this up a little bit. Now it feels like it needs some percussion, so let's see what percussion we can come up with. I've got some percussion in this sample, in the roller sample. Maybe something like that. I just found this really cool loop. We drag it in. A bit faster, but just click here, drag it, make it blue. Put it in the this part. Maybe not that low, let's put it in the right key. I feel like we could automate this decay here. Browse parameters. Oh. Oh, that is going to go up a lot. Yeah, it's gone up to 47. Okay, going to be very delicate with this. Something like that. We can always change it later on. Now let's do the next 16 bars. Let's just start with the instruments. So let's extend this. And what I have done here is I just added in another nexus, which was just the strings with the same chord progression as the piano, just to give another layer. And we'll keep the resyn as well. And then we might change it a bit later towards before the drop.
You
And then we might tail this off as well. But we want to add a couple of additional elements. So I did add this little strings bit here to give like a little bit of emphasis to the end of each bit. I don't know if I like that yet. I might change that, so we'll see. So I'm just going to add some more layers. So now I'm going to add a dance floor lead. One. The stained one. I'm going to create a new melody for it. Back it here. Grab C again. Every 2 bars. Just duplicate this, mark this in slot 45. Now let's add a couple of arcs to give it more excitement. We get a saw, and then we'll create a new pattern. Back it here. Put it on 46. And then let's create a pattern. So we're on step mode at the moment. Could do something with the bottom note. Now let's just sort this out a little bit. Let's EQ out the lows. Maybe we could bring it in gradually. It sounds a little bit weird at the love build on this. Gradually bring it in. And then let's get the... I really like the sample. That's cool. There's also this percussion element that's pretty cool, so I'm going to add this in. Nice in the background there. We can change the mix down on that a bit later on. And then there's this really cool string I like. If we can add that in as well. Let's add that in the effects tab because we're running out of space in the instrument tab. Add that here. Okay, we'll put it in E. Doesn't sound right, maybe C. Sounds good. Let's duplicate this section. Now let's change up these vocals. Let's move these back up. Maybe this. Burn for you. I want to add in some drums. So this drum kick here I've actually changed. So we're going to have kick drum playing. And then the claps as well. Put them all in. Bar mode. Those claps are really quiet. Turn them up. I mean, the kick drum is really loud, so we'll just see if we can EQ it. But maybe just that. But we can do some automation later on. Let's see if we can add more percussion. Be like a hat loop. Go to intro loop. Try this one. I think that sounds pretty good. Make the a little bit louder. And then we'll go into like a build up now. So there's kick drum. At every single bar. Just make this double here. I really need to learn the shortcut for this, but I keep forgetting it. It's so annoying. There we go. If you know it in the comments, let me know. And then we can just half this again, I think. Yep. Now let's do the vocals. I want to go you. So let's grab the U again. Actually, we can grab it from the start. Maybe we need to put it down here, actually. We just want the U. Push this forward a little bit. Yeah, that's the bit we want. And then what I want to do, just put a G clip on it. And then I want to put a reverb on it, but automate it just for the last part of the build up. I'll have it coming in. Like that. And then we'll have the vocal back in. And then the vocal coming in just before the drop. Let's add in the riser. cut everything off a bar before the drop. Oh yeah, let's turn this into a riser as well. So this thing here, turn this into a riser. 12. This was the string instrument from earlier, put on stretch mode, and then automate this. Up like that, right click up. So we just want to cut off everything for the drop. Yeah. There's this really cool riser I want to add in from the Mackie G pack. I don't know if you've seen the Mackie G pack, but it's pretty good. Got this one riser that I just love using. It's this one. Yeah. And I'm going to create a little cut here. There's one more instrument I want to add here to add even more tension. I want to try adding a guitar, because I've never really added a guitar before. Got that, and now let's just copy the lead across. Grab these. Draw a guitar. And then I'm just going to make all these faster notes. What this sounds like. Put it down now. 48, slot 48. Let's cut more stuff off when this break. Maybe instead. Right. Take some elements out and then that's part of the build-up. Also, we could add the clap in here as well, make it hit even harder. See what this sounds like. I kind of messed up this ARP sample, so what I've done is halved the length and then changed the synth to a higher one and then just resampled it. I'm going to bring it in now here. Just remove any of the post-processing on it. And the clap. This sounded a little bit weird as well. Let's change
No, I
this
still burn for you. Burn for you.
back to that.
Burn, burn, burn for you.
That sounds good. Maybe this bit here, just duplicate it.
I still burn.
Over this bit. Make this a bit longer. Like that, and same for this one. I'm going to tail off this recess. Grab an EQ one. Just so the drop hits harder. You could take some of the low end out of this. The next thing I want to do is switch up the drop. So I'll just show you what I did. I basically added this that I resampled here to the drums. So now they sound like this. And then I added these two loops that I found on Splice. So this TP loop. And then this TP loop. And now we get this. And then in the second section of the drop here, after the first 4 bars, I wanted to add some like breaks. So I removed all the snares and then I found this break sample. And then what I've done is chopped it up. So this is the original file here. And what I've done is basically just chopped this, and this. And then made it so there's 2 kick drums at the start. And then just 1 kick drum afterwards like this. And then duplicated it, so then we get this. There we have the drums. And then I created this really awesome respace that I absolutely love, because I thought the wobble was like a bit too much and it meant I couldn't add vocals over the top, which I'll show you in a minute. This is what the respace looks like. Sub and an oscillator A and a filter, and this macro is going into the filter. And then we've got the effects tab with a hyper, distortion, compressor, filter, reverb, and EQ. And then we're automating this. So what I've done is selected this area, clicked here, gone here, and then clicked browse parameters. And it brings up this. And then you just right click, create automation clip. And then it's made this. And then I've just shaped the automation and the melody. You can see the melody I've created here. You'll see how it changes on Serum. Try and get it so you can see everything. There's so much going on. So here, watch this. And then we've just got this going into channel 21 with a kickstart on it and no other plugins yet, apart from a Pro L boosting the levels a little bit. So then under the break section, I wanted to add a different respace. So I grabbed the respace from the dance floor sample pack, slapper one, which looks like this. And then I did this pattern with it. And that's just going into channel 22 with a kickstart on again and a limiter. And then I put this lead excite underneath it, an octave higher, and then started it from here. So it starts here, here, and here, and here. Just copying all the notes, but an octave higher. And then it's gradually being filtered in with a love filter. You can see here. Just so it doesn't come out of nowhere and hit you here. I thought it sounded better having that. And then I've got this vocal. I'm going to repeat the you, burn for you, burn for you. Like that. And then I'm just going to come into each one and change them the velocity a little bit. Something like this, maybe. Make it sound a bit more groovy. So let's see where we can put burn for you in. Burn for you, maybe here. I want to chop it a bit better. I want to do it faster. Burn for you, burn for you.
Still burn for you.
Maybe this. Doesn't sound quite right. Maybe shorten it. I think we need like some sort of vocal riser as well. And we found this nice little vocal riser. Maybe we could layer it with another one. Another one here I quite like. Okay, cool. I made a little error here, so this needs to be going further along, so all the way to the end here. Let me just fix this. And this goes here to match that. There we go. What I want to do now is make the drop hit harder. So what I might do is turn the volume down of the instruments a little bit. And then maybe EQ some of the low end of the drums out. Let's grab the kick first. Let's use another EQ for this. Put a high pass filter. Let's just create this. And then alter it. Maybe do the same for the lap. So yeah, let's grab that.
Maybe make the bass hit a bit harder.
I still burn for you. I still burn for you. I still burn for you.
Make this hit a bit harder.
I still burn for you.
I don't know what it is that still sounds a bit loud. Maybe it's this riser? I think it might be the kick drum as well. Maybe we could volume control the kick drum. So that sounds like. That kind of works, you know, somehow. It's because it's not actually doing anything on stuff. What happens if we make this hit harder, a bit less? The kick drum's not even hit. Oh. I think that sounds a lot better. Okay, now let's extend the drop. Let's extend this. We want to change this bit. I'm like chasing status style shit. This is. See if we can do something different with the vocals, switch up a bit. I like that.
Let's listen to that in context.
I still burn for you.
Nice. That's the first section done. Now we need to do one more section of the drop and then make any more changes before we go to the second section. So I just did a mono test on the drop and the second respace sounded terrible, this one. So I did some research, and the reason it was sounding terrible in mono is because I had it on 4 unison here. I turned this down to 1, and then I can actually use the hyper to make it wider instead, and then it still sounds pretty good in mono. Then I put these settings on hyper, and now it sounds pretty good. And then what I did was EQ out the low end on the channel, added a camel crusher for a bit more thickness, and then added a sub bass underneath to make sure on like a club system the low end is going to really go through for this part of the drop because it's going to be so heavy. Otherwise it would just sound terrible on like a big speaker. This dance floor sub 3, just this. So now let's listen to it. You'll hear. That sounds pretty cool now. And if I just play in mono, you'll be able to hear it as well. Before it just sounded like there was nothing there. It was horrible. Apart from that, I've EQ'd out some of the instruments as they come in here. EQ'd out some of the low end of some of the instruments here with this just before the drop. And that's pretty much everything now. Pretty happy with it. I'm going to take a break, give my ears a break, and then come back to it and maybe make some small adjustments.
So I spent a few more hours working on this tune. It wasn't worth recording because I made so many crazy changes. So I'll just show you what I did. So I changed this kick drum. You can see here, just changed it to dance floor kick 4. And then I removed this drum loop here. So then I was just 2 drum loops because I thought the third drum loop was a bit too much. And then I added this little reverse crash. So I got a crash and then just click this reverse button here. I'm not sure why it's sitting on the drum bus though. I'll just move it up. So. And then I removed the vocal going you, just to let the track breathe a little bit. So now it sounds like this. I added the vocal riser here and then tried adding a little bit of this in as well to try and get some high end. Like a little bit of background sound behind the drop to try and make it sound a bit wider and more energetic. And then on this U vocal here, I added some reverb, which sounds alright, I think. And then I extended the drop, so I doubled the length of the drop. And I tried a bunch of things out, but not much worked because it's quite a unique style of drop with this breaks every few bars. So I just copied the drums pretty much exactly. And then I just made some variation in the bass here. So I changed the bass pattern to this. So you play it. And then I put another vocal from the pack on splice over the top here, and then put this little hey shout with the drums cut out. You can see. Found this hey sample on splice as well. Thought it sounded pretty cool. And then I'd put the other bit here. And you can see my CPU starting to struggle a little bit now with this tune because I've basically been going for ages now and put so much crap on here that it just feels like I've gone on for a bit too long. I added this vocal riser here, you can see, as well. And then what I did with some of the instruments from here, so from the guitar, is I added a load of automation to cut out the low end, and this made the drop impact more. Listen to this. So we're just automating the EQ out, and now when the drop hits, it sounds way fatter. So look, you can see it's being automated. And you do this literally by creating a high pass filter and then grabbing this bit, right clicking and create an automation clip when this is selected here. So that's pretty much everything. Everything else is just like tiny little things I've changed or removed that just happened with listening and testing. I did add a little bit to the vocal as well. So I found this other bit that says, when it said this before. So now it changes between that and that.
Very tiny change. I tried adding some delay on the U here in the intro as well. You can see just this. Just to try and fill up some of the gaps. I might remove that later, I'm not sure yet. I think it sounds alright. So now we've done the bulk of the drop. We've done all the way up to here. I want one more section of the drop with the instruments back in. And I've tried adding an ARP in. So basically I've just copied and pasted a load of the stuff from here and the ARP here. But I've tried adding another ARP in down here. I've run out of space, so I'll put it all the way down here. And I've just created this little melody in the key. I'll play it for you. And that's just got a load of reverb on it. It's just like a sample from Nexus, I think, with a low end coming in and a load of reverb on. I'm about to put it over here. And the EQ on it, bringing out some of the frequencies. And then what we're going to do now is try and finish the track. So I've got to figure out where I want it to come in. So just grab the whole section like this and loop it and then see if it sounds good. Here's the thing, I don't want it to be like boring. Maybe we could like copy this bit in and then remove the drums maybe for the little bit. So here. Don't know if that's on the same level. Yeah, it is. Right. We need to move it further across. Yeah. Don't know why it's telling me that. Fine. And then we'll just come into here, remove the ones that are duplicated. That. These ones aren't, so I don't know. Red. Everything else looks fine. I just want to let it breathe a little bit and not have some drums here. I think it would sound good with that. Yeah, like this. A little bit of breathing. Yeah, and then it goes back in. I think that's nice. Otherwise it's going to get boring. Because I already think the intros, the first 16 bars are a little bit boring, but it's a nice introduction to the rest of the track. I don't want to repeat it. Oh, one other thing I want to do is add some effects, like risers in the drop. Also, I think that impact doesn't really hit very hard. Okay, so let's see if we can add a couple more risers in. Maybe we can just turn this one up. This one seems super quiet. Turn up on here quickly. I might just add a couple in there, maybe in the middle part here. Let's put this back in. This doesn't copy it across. Now we just need a second drop, and then the track's pretty much finished. Let's quickly do the outro. Maybe add For You at the end. I Still Burn For You right at the end. Vocals, I like this one the best. Across. I hate how it can't go, it doesn't drag faster. Maybe add the reverb on it here. Maybe this instead.
we just cut the drums out as well?
Still burn for you. Still burn for you. You. Still burn for you.
There's a weird noise coming from something. I think it might be the piano. I think I already have something on the instrument bus. I've only got an EQ. Let's try a love filter. Do this, right click, and then get rid of that low end there.
Still burn for you.
Maybe add like one of these risers here as well. Not those ones, the ones that are cut out. These ones.
Still burn for you.
Like a clicking.
Still burn for you.
Oh, I copied multiple across. Is that a clicking?
Still burn for you.
Yeah.
Still burn for you.
Yeah, so just cut it off a little bit here.
Still burn for you.
And then we just need to extend this until there's no sound left.
Still burn for you.
Yeah, that's fine. With that. So now we just need to make a second drop and then the track is done. So I tried a wobble bass like after this bit here on the drop and it sounded pretty cool, but it just didn't sound good enough. So I've just kind of played it safe and made this melody instead. And then basically just copied and pasted that before each section of the last drop. And then that's the end of the track, pretty much. I could do more, but I'm pretty fed up with this track now. Like, I can't stand hearing it any longer because this was part of that 100-hour challenge I uploaded last week, if you've not seen that yet. And it's basically just killed me off trying to do 100 hours. Never spend 100 hours on a track. It is a waste of time. I think I've spent like 15 hours on this. I'm not really sure. I didn't even get close to the 100 hours. So I've learned a big lesson here at the bottom there. At 18 hours-ish minus whatever other time was made making the project template. If there's any one bit of advice I can give is do not spend more than 10 hours on a track. It's not worth it. I've also released this track. It's on all platforms. I'll leave a link if you want to go and add it to your playlist. That'd be very much appreciated. And let's listen.
You. For you. You. For you. For you. Burn for you. I still burn for you. Burn for you. Burn, burn, burn for you. I still burn for you. Burn for you. Burn for you, burn for you. I still burn for you. Burn for you. Burn for you, burn for you. I still burn for you. When my heart stops beating, I still bleed for you. I still burn for you. When the world starts turning, I still burn for you. I still burn for you.
And that's the video finished. If you want the Dance Floor DNB pack, link down below. If you want to join my academy, link down below. All the links down below. You know what to do. If you've got any questions, any recommendations on what videos you want to see from me in the future, leave them in the comments down below. Please leave a like if you haven't already. This video took a long time to make, so I really would appreciate any support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.